Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the session I ran this morning. It was actually quite good fun because the participants, I got them to tell me what they wanted to get out of it. And they wanted to learn things like how to actually move the culture and inspire people and influence people, and how to make connections between people from IT and business. So what we spent the time doing was talking about what the barrier is. And mostly in terms of trying to make change happen, it's not the technology, it's the people. So I help them try and understand, why people get in the way. It's not because they're horrible, it's because of how they're programmed, how to start to make it part of their other person's agenda and their goals, how to reduce the levels of fear so people are happier to move forward. And it was quite a good conversation. So I guess you're probably thinking, what would be my top 5 tips for getting people to engage in change? But it's one of those secrets which if I told you, that's the end for you. So I'll tell you the sort of semi-secrets and then you can spread those. The first thing is to realize that if something isn't working, it's probably the people. It's usually the people. So the first thing to realize is you've got to engage the human beings, because most of the people I know are human beings. The human beings are not designed for change. So you have to find ways of involving them and so on. The second is what I call go slow to go fast. Everyone rushes into trying to get the work done. Whereas in reality, what they should do is make sure that everyone's engaged, they've understood it, they're all aligned, they've got common language before they start moving forward. The third thing is to realize you can't do it all in one big go. So you've got to break it into chunks or a campaign, and each of those chunks will be slightly different. Some of them are clear and you know what to do, and some of them are very unclear and very foggy and you don't know what to do. And you've got to juggle between those. And the last piece you've got to do is to close the loop to make sure that what you've changed stays changed. So you have to take away all the old bits of culture and put in all sorts of new reasons why people continue behaving that way. Sometimes people say to me, that's great, but we've got 100,000 employees. How do we do it? And the reality is it's almost impossible to change 100,000 people with the resources of a normal organization. If you're a government, maybe you can do war or something like that. But to change large numbers of people is not so easy. However, have you noticed how when you go out maybe for an evening with a few friends, maybe 3 or 4 of you, 6 is not a good number, but around the table you can get to agreement, you can have a really good discussion, 5 is a really nice number. And then each of you could probably go away and meet 4 of their friends and tell them about the discussion and get another great discussion. If you're trying to work with big groups, what you do is you get the small group dynamics to help you to get to the big one. I call it breaking into the fractals. So if it's 100,000 people, you work with 5 people to get their real commitment. They then take on board another 5 people, so now you're up to 25. They then take on board another 5, so it's up to 125. So as you do that and break it into chunks, you can get lots and lots of movement and understanding, because there's enough time for people to talk and discuss in a smaller group, which there isn't in a larger group. I mean, my life has really been about trying to make change happen properly. And I actually did something silly, which is I left a proper job in order to set up a virtual business school. But my life now is about changing on a global scale, but using technology. So I spend a lot of my time on Cube, which is our platform, which is cube.cc, where I can meet people and talk to them, and we can work together and align. And for my global clients and even for my local clients, that brings them all together in very much the ways we've just been discussing.